What's up everyone? Welcome to the channel. It's Leo again, your friendly neighborhood flipper. This video is going to be a weekday update on what's going on the housing market. As you know, everyone's talking about a crash. There's people who don't do real estate that's on YouTube that are saying, oh, it's here, it's here. Well, listen, I can tell you, all I see is ridiculous lines for open houses. I mean, there's a house for sale on my block. I went today. There's like 30 cars there. The house is listed for $749, which is probably gonna go for $100,000 over. Again, I even spoke to a friend of mine. He's a colleague. He's down in Palm Beach. He said there's only 1% of land available to build, and the prices up to $1 million homes, the bidding's ridiculous. Between a 1.5 million and 2 million, it's softening a little. So that's like softening a little in Palm Beach where people got money. So even in Jersey's crazy. The last house up the block from where we flipped. Now, if you haven't seen any of my flip videos, you can check Facebook. I also post them I have one on YouTube, and I also have one on Instagram. I try to do a quick synopsis, you know, I do some magic with my editing, but I'm in the game doing flips. My partner is a real estate agent. My other colleague's in Florida. So I'm giving you like weekly update on what's going on. And if something happens, I tell you. I see 2 months from now something happening, softening even more if the interest rates go up another half a point. But again, there's a lot of people with a lot of money. So what's happening is that these people that are selling their houses, and again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but I'm going to migration patterns, right? People are leaving certain areas and going down to Florida. They're going to New Jersey because they want to get out of the city, New York City. I'm in South Jersey, so it's nice down here. And again, these people are selling their homes for $1 million cash, right? And they're going to Florida, and they're buying $1 million homes cash to beat out bidding, and they're overpaying, and then they call the bank and they're like, yeah, hi, I want to take a home equity line, I want to do a cash out refi. So that's what they're doing. So all these people are cash heavy. They're still around. They don't care about interest rates because they got the house already, and they had $1 million cash. I mean, if you got $1 million cash, who cares about $200 a month, you know? Are they pricing out the people that are $400,000 or $500,000? Possibly, you know, there is a possibility. It is softening up a bit. I know in New York City, it's softening up, Staten Island and stuff like that. Now, there are other parts in the country that are softening up. There's Seattle, there's, you know, parts of California. But again, these states that people are going to, they're migrating, they're hot. Like, they're really ridiculously hot. So let me jump into my computer now, and I want to show you what nonsense is going on out in this fabulous media that we have, and how they're like scaring people because everyone's talking about the market, it's crashing, this, that, and the other thing. They're trying to deter people from buying houses, which, listen, if you have to live somewhere, I get it. You gotta move somewhere, right? I mean, I was even looking to buy a house down in Florida because it's so out of control and there's no land left to build, and I kind of want to move, but you know, it's so crazy, it's difficult to find something. So let's jump in. I'll show you what I'm talking about right after this. Here we are. I'm on Bing. I like Bing. Alright, so everyone goes to Google, and I look at this article here. It says fear of missing out. So we all know what FOMO is, right? Like, everyone's like FOMOing in. That's like a crypto term. So it's fear of missing out. Everyone's jumping in here about missing the real estate market, and this is true. Like, there's a lot of people that are like, oh my god, I'm not gonna get a house. Like, it's very, very true about that. I'm not debating that, and people don't really care because if your interest rate is really low, no one cares about what the price of the house is. So if the house goes 1 million, 1.2, and you have like 2.875 interest rate, like, no one cares. As that interest rate creeps up, it costs a little bit more and more money. So people are like, screw it, I need a house. And, you know, everyone's talking about, oh, real estate's a hedge of inflation, which it is. But, you know, there's a lot of articles out there that are talking about that it's not. So we're going to hit this next article after this. Again, here they're talking about Florida, how everyone's FOMOing in. And if you go to a lot of these groups online, you'll see, I mean, I'm in Moving to Florida Facebook group. It's very interesting. Like, you can tell a lot about going to these Facebook groups and seeing people actually going down and moving in. I mean, I actually looked at houses in Tampa for a friend of mine, and he said in the beginning they were $400,000, now they're $500,000. So what is that telling you, right? You see here, many buyers have watched as homes they once passed on for being too expensive have become even more expensive, leading to them to fear that they may be missing out on more equity gains if they wait on the housing market added blah 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 in Fort Lauderdale. True, 100%. Guess what? Florida, I do not think that Florida is gonna come down. If it does, you might get less offers, but I have news for you. We've got to go back and look at how much land is available to build, who is building on these plots of land, if there is any available to build, you know, multiple houses. And don't forget, you got shortages of you know, material. You have more shortages of labor doing the work. Like, people don't want to do work. They don't want to work. So it's very hard. I mean, you can get like illegals to work. A lot of contractors do that, which they actually are more hardworking than a lot of Americans, which is crazy. So let me go to the next article and I'll show you. So this is a Wall Street Journal article, and I hate the Wall Street Journal, but this is what fear-mongering there is, the Wall Street Journal. And there's this lady, Carol Ryan. Like, if you look at all of her articles, they're like so negative, and I'll show you. Like, she's like, oh, now all of a sudden, the real estate is not a shelter of inflation. Like, hello, like, go back to the 70s. Tell me about inflation, okay? Let's talk about inflation back in the 70s. From the 70s to the 80s, a single-family home went from $17,000 to $47,000, and then to 1980, it went even higher. So what is this lady talking about? Like, where in history has housing not gone up since inflation? Like, I don't know what she's talking about. So this is exactly the fear-mongering and the nonsense online that they're lying to people. And I hate reading articles like this, right? So I looked her name up. I was like, oh, who is this lady? She's like, oh, she's talking about, oh, pot investors have little to celebrate on 420. Is Gucci too trending? All this stuff. Like, now she's targeting mayonnaise. Like, dude, everything she's writing is negative. So they tell these people, oh, go write something negative about it because we gotta control FOMO. So that's what's happening, really. Like, so be very wary of what you read and who you're getting your information from on YouTube and who is an expert. Like, if you want to know what's going on, speak to a realtor in your area. If you want to know what's going on with flipping, speak to a flipper. If you want to know what's going on with wholesaling, speak to a wholesaler, because they talk to the actual customers, the residences, the older people. You'll get information from them, right? So you got to go to the horse's mouth. You got to make your own assumption, and it's got to be educated based on data. I like to make my assumption and my notion of what's going on, like, from asking experts and people who are in the industry. That's just my take on it. I think it's a little too early until we hear what's going on with the Fed, on what else is going to happen. But just be careful what you're reading out there, and be careful who's telling you these things, because 9 times out of 10, they're full of it, especially online. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want any other videos made and you have a suggestion, leave a comment in the description below, and see you in the next video.